Welcome to the PrepZone Show, presented by Bevill State. I'm your host, Johnathan Bentley, with my co-host, Zak McCullough. Zak, I'm not wearing the right shirt today.
You are not wearing your PrepZone shirt.
I just feel wrong. It's cold outside.
You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace to this to this newspaper. You're supposed to show up in uniform like me. Yeah. I'm wearing this beautiful, well-fitting.
You remembered
PrepZone. I did. I remembered.
And where's your jacket? Because it's freezing outside.
It ain't that bad.
It's Alabama. We're used to
It's good weather. It's good weather.
Yeah, it's good football weather.
Yes.
Which is what we're here to talk about, actually.
And we do have a couple of local teams still playing.
Yes.
Even though the majority are out. And for those of our teams that your season has ended, I know it's sad that it's over, but appreciate you going out there and playing and putting your body out on the line for your school. And it's been a good season for some of these teams. So
yes. Yeah.
Anytime.
Especially in Winston County again.
Yes, again. We'll talk about that later, about how good they've been.
Corner and Winston County, very good teams. All right, so we'll start with last week's games. Like you said, the 5 made it to the playoffs. And the first one, a very tough game, Gadsden City 40, Jasper 37.
It looked like this game was over and Jasper fought back within a field goal.
They really did.
But the part that's it just hurts is that Jasper, I think it was their opening possession, lined up for an easy chip shot field goal and it got blocked.
Yeah, and
that was the difference of the game.
They gave up a lot of big. It wasn't your typical Jasper game. I mean, the offense was doing its thing. The defense let a couple of big plays get loose. Yeah, kind of disappointing. I mean, it's a good team though.
I think Gadsden City also took the opening kickoff of the second half back for a score.
That's right. I mean, if you take away just one of those plays,
everything it seemed like went Gadsden City's way for a while, and it's hard to overcome that, especially on the road
against a good team.
If they're good, Gadsden
and I think they just ran out of time. They ran out of time late.
I agree with you.
So Jasper ends the season 8-3. It's a very good season. Another step forward. Yeah, that's what you look for.
When you have a new coach, especially with David Reeves, you have 1 year, just throw it away at your first year, and that was the 1-9 season. Mm-hmm. Then you have a good year, 7-3. Then you make the playoffs. What's the next step? Win the region, make a playoff run. But they are continually taking steps forward, and that's what we expected when David Reeves got there, and he has done a really good job of putting this Jasper team, moving them forward.
Yeah, I hate it for some of the seniors, like Mike Pledger.
Yeah,
had a great season. Mackay, sorry, not Mike. Mackay's had a great season, over 1,000 yards again, 2 years in a row, and it's his senior year. Hopefully, we get to see him play at the next level.
Hope so. He's got the talent.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so our next game, Moody 49, Corner 21.
Yeah, Moody a 1 seed, Corner a 4 seed. Another bad matchup here. Corner fought hard, played valiantly, but they fall short, and they are eliminated in the first round. Another good season for Trent Campbell's teams. We City.
That was tough.
Spencer Unruh, I believe he's a senior, so that's his career.
Like Pledger.
Pledger.
Great running back.
And like Tyler Thomas, who finished his career out. So we've lost a lot of good running backs this season.
Boy, we'll have some new names next year.
We will. And names, we always have somebody pop up, it feels like.
That we don't know exactly. That'll happen. But Corner, it was down 28-0 right off. And then they kind of played them pretty straight up after that. But you just can't fall down by that much to a good team like that.
Yeah, not to Moody.
All right. So Corner ends the season also 8-3. Pleasant Valley 40, Winston County 28.
Really not bad from Winston County here. Pleasant Valley, I think, is ranked in 2A. A really good team. And Winston County had it close. They made Pleasant Valley earn it. So a credit to Winston County. 5-6. I know it's a step down from last year, going 12-1. But Winston County is a program that really doesn't get 5. They haven't gotten 5 wins in a season too much before Mark Mitchell, and now Caleb Simmons is taking it to a new level. Mm-hmm. So Winston County, another good season, even though it finishes technically with a losing record because of 5-6. But
yeah, I mean, going over to Jacksonville for this game, and it was 14-0. It was maybe 13-12, 13-0, 13-12. They kept it there. Then they got a touchdown before the half, and that was kind of pulled away from that. I mean, kept it about 2 touchdowns from then on. But a good season from Winston County. Pleasant Valley had never won a playoff game before.
And we see that a lot in 1A, and I guess in 2A we see it. Teams that just pop up out of nowhere to have a good run, and that's what Pleasant Valley is enjoying this season.
A really good quarterback. I think he had 4 touchdowns. All right, so Addison, a game you were at, Addison 71, Bragland 39.
There's a lot of offense in this one. You would look at the final score and think maybe it was a close competitive game. So Addison gets the ball, touchdown very quickly. Ragland gets it, touchdown very quickly. Back to Addison, touchdown very quickly. It's 14-7. Ragland gets it back. Snap goes over the quarterback's head. Addison falls on it in the end zone. It's 21-7, and Ragland never had a chance. Late in the third quarter, it was 71-15. Addison put backups in, and the Ragland offense, which Ragland's got some talent, they had their starters in going against the Addison backups. They were able to put up 3 late touchdowns to make it 71-39. By the way, those 110 combined points, the most in the game in Addison history.
And that's a long history, too.
That is a lot of football to 110, 71-39. Still not the highest scoring game I've ever seen, which was 76-40. And I think you've got me beat on that one, though. You've seen a lot more.
Yeah, some old Parish games. 77, I think 77-51.
They had one game. I think it was Parish, 81-58.
Yeah, Hubbardville. That's right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of offense back when the Tornadoes had a program.
They put up points. All right, and our last one to mention here, Meek 42, Woodville 25.
This game was close for a while. Meek was able to pull away with the running game, and we'll talk about some of those stars in a minute, but the running game really did a good job for Meek. Now they've got the number 1 team in the state coming in this week, and we'll see if they can establish the running game against Wadley.
Yeah, I mean, Woodville also never won a playoff game, was up 25-20 going into the fourth, and Meek just took over. So, yeah, good for Meek. So we have 2 teams left, 10 miles apart from each other?
Yes, very
something
close
like
to each
that.
other, Addison and
on the same road. Yeah. All right, so our player of the week, kind of talking about the guy we just mentioned, skirted around about Meek. So, Benson, I guess, has been mainly, I think it changed around Addison where they started giving the ball, running the ball.
Yeah, Aiden Benson, a defensive lineman. And I've seen Meek once this year against Carbon Hill. And when he got through the line of scrimmage, that guy's fast for a defensive lineman. He had quarterback Dayton Miller for Carbon Hill, who, by the way, is an exceptional scrambler, had him running for his life. So the fact that he is a speedy defensive lineman, Coach Evans thought, in a short yardage situation, maybe I put him in. And against Addison, he took it to the house.
Yep.
And he told me after the Carbon Hill game, I said, what made you start giving it to him? He said, well, that happened against Addison. And I thought, maybe we got something here. And he's turned out to be a very core part of their offense. 14 rushing attempts, 161 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
That's incredible.
That's pretty good.
And all started from kind of a gimmick play midway through the season. Right. I was at the Addison game, and I want to say it was 4th and 1 or 2. And instead of getting the 2, he was just gone. And the guy had his foot. He got loose, and he ran away.
Well, Benson's got speed. He is. That's what impressed me is you think of giving it to a lineman. All right, the big guy's going to run over some people, but he'll run out of steam. No, this guy, he books it, and he doesn't stop. He can go fast.
He can go down the field.
Yes.
It's not going to be a 2-yard gain because it's hard to tackle a guy, especially in 1A ball. Mm-hmm. And you also don't see number 68 running the ball.
No, you don't see a lot of running backs for that number.
So that has been a new wrinkle. Good job of coaching by Evans there to start using that. But some other guys want to mention that their season, except for Hunter Wyatt, who's also on this list, 192 yards and a touchdown.
Yes,
pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Double 1,000
more
yards.
Yardage than Benson. Of course, Benson had the 4 touchdowns. Only 1 for Wyatt, but still, it's really
1-2 punch.
We've come to be used to Hunter Wyatt running the ball, doing such a fantastic job, and we'll see. We'll talk about it more. This week they're going up against a really good defense. We'll see how they can establish the running game against Wadley.
Yeah, that'll be next level. I want to mention Mekhi Pledger again, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns in the loss. Cam Adderholt, 22 for 174 and 2 touchdowns.
Pretty good.
I mean, a lot of these guys. Unruh, who you mentioned, 15 for 150 yards. I just hate we lose some of these guys. They've been so. We just know their names for years,
Right.
Now they're seniors.
We see them graduate and people move on up, and it's up to the young guys now to step in and pick up the slack when these seniors graduate. So we're seeing a lot of these very, very talented people graduate and move on. So we'll see. The main thing looking to next year for a lot of these coaches is, all right, how am I going to replace so-and-so? How am I going to, how many guys is it going to take to fill all those spots? So that's a lot of what coaches have to do. And, for a little bit in the off season, it's all right, how do I, try to replace him?
It's like Chris Clemens for Winston County last year.
Yes.
Like, how in the world do you replace him? You really can't, but they had 2 guys who rushed for 1,000 yards this year. All right, so I will say this. Yeah, so all these guys at least made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just hate they lost. All right, so this is one of our last times to do the top 3 teams of the week. So we only got 2 left after this.
3, so we're going to have one that has been eliminated as number 3. My number 3 is corner. They had some rough luck with a couple of teams they lost to, and then a valiant effort against Moody, but they were outmatched by a really good team in that situation. Another great year for Trent Campbell's team. Really turned around a corner program that had not done too much. And now they're a perennial power, so a corner's my number 3.
I have Jasper at 3, kind of mentioned them, kind of rising up every year. And I was hoping they'd make a run this year. That was just a tough draw, first round, but they're going in the right direction. And, 8-3, and all your losses are to, a second-round playoff team in Gadsden City. And Shoals and Hartsville both won as well, so all 3 teams they lost to are still going, so... It's just a good season, just a tough spot to be in a region with number 3 and number 4 in the same region.
You don't see that
asking a lot.
You don't usually get to rank teams.
And not that high.
But, in 4A, the number 1 and number 2 team in all 4A, Jackson and St. Michael's are in the same region. So sometimes you do see that.
It does happen. It does happen.
It happens when you have 2 really good teams in a region, and it's really not fair to the others because you could have a team put on a really good year, but they're still a 3 seed and they have to travel.
Yeah, in the other regions, Jasper probably been a 2, maybe even won some.
Jasper could have won a lot of regions.
But they were in a tough spot. Yeah. All right, so who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Meek.
Of course. Yes.
Because of the 2 teams
left.
Meek,
still here.
Meek and Addison played head-to-head, and of course Addison won that. But Meek, we mentioned Coach Evans and his decision to put in Aiden Benson as a fullback and a running back. He has Hunter Wyatt. Evan McKay at quarterback, still very effective. It's been another good year for Meek. Talking about teams that had not done a lot of winning in the past, Meek was the team that was going 0-10, 1-9. There was a stretch for a few years where they did that. And Houston Powell takes over, has a lot of success, and now Daniel Evans has continued that success.
Yes.
That's important. When you lose a really good coach, you have to have somebody that can keep that going. It takes a lot of skill, and Daniel Evans has that. So Meek is my number 2, and I presume they're yours as well?
They are, yes. And it reminds me of, Meek is like, it is hard to keep it going because you have, some coaches don't. Like you have a success, you put a coach in there and it goes back down to the bottom. And Meek was for years at the bottom. So I'm glad to see them have success. They deserved it after all those years.
Absolutely. And they've got some great fans in Meek, and they've got talent. We've seen it.
Yes,
it's just that coaches that can utilize that talent.
And they'll have a ton of people at this game this week.
Oh, man, that'll be packed hosting Wadley.
And you'll be there.
I will be there broadcasting that game. Looking forward to getting to see Meek again. I love going to Arley. Also looking forward to seeing Wadley, the reigning state champion with a 23-game winning streak.
Wow. Yeah, it's better than going to Wadley, going to Meek. So our number 1, obviously, is Addison.
It is Addison. They have...
what can you say?
Last week, got to see them in a game where the final score is a little deceiving. The game was never in doubt once you got about 3 minutes into the first quarter. It was never in doubt. In 71-39, the final score. The Addison defense played fairly well until the end, then they put in backups.
Yeah, I like that.
And Addison, the defense really never got much of a rest for them because they either scored very quickly, scored on defense with the snap recovered in the end zone. There was a pick 6 by Elijah Roberts. When a quarterback has a pick 6, it's usually not good. Right. But Elijah Roberts was playing on defense, and he got a pick 6. So it's funny. I think that's probably the only pick 6 he's been involved in, in a long time.
He has great numbers this year.
Intercepts, yeah. So Addison, they have so much talent up and down. And that 71, their leading rusher was injured, didn't even play.
Yeah, I had not realized that Seth Hammock had been missing all year and just comes in. And I mean, it's nice when you plug a guy like that in and he is your leading rusher.
Yeah, he had been hurt, and then he pops in.
Yeah, and it's nice to have another guy.
It just shows that Addison's got a lot of depth.
They do.
A lot of talent. And they have all that talent walking the halls, and coach is able to get them out there on the field. That just tells a lot about Coach Hastings as well.
That is not easy to do.
No, it's not.
And he'll tell you that too. All right, so we'll jump to this week's games. Only 2 left. Man. Wish we had more. But, all right, so second round of the playoffs. Wadley 10-0 and has won, I wrote this down, 23 in a row coming to Meek. But the funny thing is, I know Evans will be like, we got a good chance.
He's very confident.
He will always say that, and he believes it.
He trusts his players, and that is a great quality for a coach to have. And, of course, Meek got him last year in the second round of the playoffs. So they're prepared. They have tape of what happened last year and ways to improve that. So I have no doubt that Meek will be ready, and I have no doubt that Meek will put up a good fight. And I think that they can hang around for a little bit. But my goodness, it's Wadley, the number 1 team in Class 1A, reigning state champions, probably the favorite to win it again this year. I think at Wadley, they're going to exit this game with a victory, I believe, but with a lot of respect for Meek because I have a feeling the Tigers will fight hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's at home. Like I said before, that is a miserable trip to Wadley, so having this at home is a huge bonus. It'd be a big crowd, good atmosphere. I just went Wadley too, just because it's just it's a very tough matchup. It's the hardest matchup you could probably have in 1A in the second round.
Absolutely.
So,
it's the hardest matchup you can get in 1A, period.
Yeah, I mean, Wadley's just, they had never won a championship till last year, which is crazy. A team with that kind of history.
It's because 1A South, I guess, is so good.
Yeah. Brantley, there's been teams for years. It was always somebody down there. Yeah. Sweetwater was good for decades, yeah.
Leroy's been pretty good down there.
Yeah. So Wadley finally got over the hump last year, but that'll be a very tough game. But good luck to Meek. Hopefully make a good game of that. Right down the road, Berry at number, I think it's 6 Addison.
Yeah, number 6 Addison.
10-1 Addison, 9-2 Berry.
Addison, I was impressed. I think they could have played better on defense, at least closing out the game. But I know Mark Hastings is going, he's a little more happy that there were just a couple of issues that he can, tell his team about. You don't want it to be perfect because then there's no way to improve. You want to be able to get your mistakes out of the way in the first round win over a 4 seed. That way, when you face a tough team like Berry, you can have all the kinks worked out. So I think Addison is in a good position, and I think they beat the Berry Wildcats pretty handily. Not that Berry's a bad team, but I think they're outmatched.
Well, it's funny you brought up that Lynn beat both these teams.
Yes,
year,
Lynn beat both of these teams.
That tells you how good Lynn was when they were healthy.
Lynn beat Berry in the regular season, a big upset. Beat Addison in a jamboree.
That is not a jamboree. Only in name.
Only in name.
It's a jamboree, yes.
Both of those teams wanted that one very bad. I love that, too.
Yeah,
they're fighting in a jamboree. They want to play. That's a good quality to have.
Full-blown game with the starters the whole game, yeah. But I take Addison as well, which is crazy. Berry has only played Addison 4 times, which is weird, and has never lost to Addison.
If I were in charge of scheduling, I would schedule Berry Addison more often.
That would be great. Yeah,
and I would definitely schedule Addison in Hubbardville. Well, I have Addison playing a couple of Buffett County schools.
Well, Addison, I don't think is going to be playing Good Hope next year because they're going to 5A, and that would be a nice addition if they could get somebody like that.
Good Hope's going to 5A.
Yeah, that'll be a big difference, 1A to 5A.
Yeah.
That'll be
if you're a 1A school, you can't play.
Yeah, that's
not a good 5A.
Yeah, that's really maybe a bad 5A. But
yeah, they might be bad, but they were good in 4A. Good in 4A.
But that's crazy. They only played 4 times is just really strange, and never beaten them, which is. They played them last year, so these kids will remember last year's playoff game when I think it was a high scoring 54-32 or something like that. Yeah. So those kids will remember that, and hopefully they get some revenge because they need to keep going. We gotta
have somebody. We gotta keep having these shows.
Exactly, and we want to be here, right?
Yeah, we do.
Talking about ice jobs. Yes. All right, so the last 2 teams from Winston County
again,
and 3 made it to the second round last year. So 2 this year. What is different? Well, I'll just say this for our county. No team made it in Walker County. The first time since you looked this up.
1976.
The bicentennial.
Yeah. So don't say, Jasper made it. Yes, but they're their own school district.
Yes. So we're talking about county
political here, not geographical. So county school system, that doesn't count somebody Christian. That doesn't count Jasper. So first time since 1976 that one of the Walker County School District schools football team did not make the playoffs. And back in 76, I don't remember it because I wasn't alive, of course. You might not have been either. Back in 76, I think only region champions made the playoffs.
Yeah, you could have a 9-1 record sometimes and miss the playoffs. Because it was a lot tougher.
Looking back, I think somebody did. Maybe it was Cordova or maybe it was Dorr. I can't remember. Somebody had a 9-1 record and missed out because they lost by 1
game
point.
Mattered. Yes,
lost by 1 point.
So I think that'll end next year. I think we'll have several.
Somebody, you think?
Yeah,
somebody.
I think Oakman's on the right.
Yeah, Oakman.
Yeah, the dude was Thomas.
Dora should bounce back. Curry's got some talent coming back.
Hey, Curry was 1 game away. Curry was our last one that had a chance.
They were their closest.
Cordova had some close. Yeah, somebody will make it. I think more than one. So we'll end that. Hopefully, it's a 1-year deal. All right, but we do want to talk about what are they doing right in Winston County? Is it called a smaller school system? I mean. Smaller schools, 1A and 2A?
Yeah, they are smaller schools up there. So football up in the Free State has been spectacular the last few
years now.
Why is it different? I mean, there's some really good coaches up there. You've got Evans at Meek, Simmons at Winston County, Hastings at Addison, and Cagle at Lynn. Those are some good coaches. Would like to note in Winston County schools. It's been pretty bad on Haleyville this year, but Winston County schools.
I'm gotta make that year for Haleyville. I'm glad you did that. That's true. Yes,
but I think it's coaching. I think it's talent. The talents are up in the hall. They're walking the halls of these schools, and the coaches are able to get those guys out on the field. And I think there's a lot of pride in being from Winston County.
Yes,
because Walker County's got all the big cities, compared to Winston County at least, and there's some pride that comes from being in Winston County, the history of the county, the Free State legacy that they have. So I think there's a lot of pride in being from Winston County and representing that county well, and I think that those boys on the football teams do a pretty good job of it. And so I think maybe there's a chip on the shoulder almost.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different.
It's different. It means different in every sport.
It means more.
It just means more.
Yes, that's the SEC motto, maybe the Winston County motto.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy how good they've been because it wasn't like that. Not that long ago, you look and
it was just
maybe Lynn was down and Meek was down and Winston County was.
Lynn had some good years every now and then. Addison's always been good, but Winston County had never really been great, and Meek had not been very good at all either.
Yep.
So it's really a recent thing, as you mentioned.
A lot of it does have to do with coaching and the talent's there.
Yes, the talent's there.
And you put coaching with talent, it usually works out. Like Winston County had never won a region championship till last year. Yep. And that's, I think they started regions in 2000, so we're talking 24 years before they won one.
Wow.
But yeah, so things are going good. And the weird thing is, in the state volleyball championship, it was Meek against Addison.
It's not just football.
Yeah.
It's not just football. They are pretty good.
They're good. And Winston County was the top 4 in volleyball in 2A. So it's a very good volleyball county, too. Maybe it's just good at everything.
Yeah, fall sports work out pretty well.
Yeah, very good fall over there. Which Addison beat Meek. I hate that. I mean, somebody had to lose.
Yeah, somebody's got to. That's crazy that the two best teams in your class
and
are literally just a few miles down the road from each other.
Plays it each other 7 times in volleyball.
Wow. Knew each other well.
Yes.
By the end of that season, knew each other well.
Unfortunately, or maybe it's fortunately, they don't do that in football. Play 7 times.
You don't ever do. No, that wouldn't be.
2 would be awesome because it would mean in the playoffs usually.
I've heard of teams in high school playing 4 times. They play the Jamboree, 2 regular season games, and then meet in the playoffs.
That has happened.
I think Hubbardville and Hackleburg.
Some of those small.
And Hubbardville once swept that. They did it 4-0 against Hackleburg.
And that's who they play this week.
Yes.
That's Hubbardville, a very good Hubbardville team. That's kind of like 1A, what we're talking about. Hubbardville came out of nowhere just a couple of years ago, and now they're undefeated.
So Hubbardville is typically good, and then they had down years. So it's kind of more like the opposite, where they're usually good, and then they go fall apart for a few years and come back. Hubbardville's been good.
They're back
as well. Yeah. Small school football.
All right, so we'll jump to college football quickly.
Big school football then.
Yes. Auburn lost again.
No.
So they're pretty much out of a bowl game. They got to beat Alabama now.
They would have to win out. There's a chance. There's a chance.
But the offense, so
that.
Freeze is out, and the offense goes off against Vanderbilt. Well, off for Auburn.
Yeah. 38
Auburn
points.
Standards, yes.
That's, I don't know. I don't think Alabama scored 38. No, Alabama hasn't scored 38 in a conference game either.
Wow, really?
37 against Tennessee was the max. So that's something that Auburn's done that Alabama hasn't.
Unfortunately, Vanderbilt and Pavia they had a good game. Good game. Good coaching. You know what I mean?
But explain this. You fire the offensive guru because the offense is terrible. You put the defensive guru in because the defense is really good. And when he takes over, the offense is really good and the defense is terrible. How does that work?
I think he just let Nix go with it. The offensive coordinator just turned it loose to him, and immediately this happened.
That's weird.
So what does that tell you about Freeze?
He had lost his touch.
And I think he was just done. And then a lot of the other stories have come out that have been negative about things that were going on. It didn't make any sense. And hopefully we'll never think about him again. Not as bad as Harskin. I mean, I wanted him to succeed. I wanted Harskin to succeed. But Freeze, I wanted him. I thought it was a good idea, and I was wrong.
I thought it was a good hire. I thought it was a good hire at the time, too, because he had the track record. He'd won in the SEC. But sometimes those hires that look so good don't work out. Look at Scott Frost when he was at Nebraska.
Who would have ever thought that?
He had done so well at Central Florida, Nebraska guy. Most people thought, all right, this guy's going to have immediate success, and it was terrible. So
Never
sometimes that right coach is actually not the right guy.
And now Auburn hopefully hits this one out of the park, or at least they get a single.
They won't.
They'll probably mess it up. All right, so what is this? Durkins, the interim coach, does this help his chances of being the head coach?
He can't get this. After how his Maryland tenure ended, there is
no way to go.
No, it's just 7 years.
Oh, was it only 7?
It's 2018.
I thought it was so long. Well, it's still pretty long time.
The way that happened, and the fact that he's never apologized for Jordan McNair's death. Honestly, I don't see how you can hire the guy. I don't. Freeze had some rough history on him. Bruce Pearl at the basketball program had
only hire coaches with baggage, so this is a perfect fit.
Man, that somebody dying, that's not
awful.
baggage.
That's so awful. That was terrible. So,
but I don't know. He's a great defensive mind. I'll say that for him. I mean, he did a good job as defensive coordinator. But I don't see how he could be. If he won the Iron Bowl, I still don't see how you could hire him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I guess ideally, the new coach would keep him as a defensive coordinator, which that doesn't happen. That doesn't usually, especially if a defensive head coach comes in. So I don't think he gets it, but if they miss on a couple of guys, maybe he does.
If there's nobody else, it's a fallback option, but
that'll be it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a fluid situation. We won't know till it's over.
It's rough because who wants the Auburn program? Not that it's bad, not that you can't have success, because you really can. There's great fans at Auburn. It's a place that's had success, a bunch of national championships they've recently claimed. They've done well. They were awarded those championships, just not by the AP. But
hey, the golf magazine said they were champ.
The reputable football source.
Golf Digest. Yes, they know their football.
They do. But it's not a bad fit. It's just people haven't won there lately. It seems to be a program in dysfunction, these last few years. You've got to have somebody with a strong personality to say, all right, this is my program now. I'm running it the way I want. And there's not a lot of those kind of guys on the market right now.
Yeah, and you're going to have to keep this team together, too. So we're going to have to come in and recruit this team back. And hopefully some of these big guys like Cam Coleman.
Yeah, you got to start with the kids. Yeah. You have to recruit the ones that are on the roster.
Got to bring them back.
You got to recruit the incoming freshmen who are going to decommit. Then you've got to recruit out of the portal.
And this is all going to happen very quickly also.
Very, very quickly. So coaching changes are never fun for anybody. I guess it was still necessary, though.
It wasn't necessary. It should have happened earlier, but yeah, that's another story. All right, so a game you were at, Alabama, what was it, 20-9?
20-9.
20-9 over LSU.
Good old typical Alabama LSU game.
Yeah, it was but they got the job done. That's all that matters. Just win, right?
Well, it's typical Kalen DeBoer. It's not going to be flashy, but you're going to win. When he was at Washington, he went 14-1 his last year at Washington. 9 of those games were one possession.
Wow.
All wins.
Incredible.
And a couple of those one possession games, actually 3 of them were against top 10 teams. Twice against Oregon, once against Texas.
That's right. They did do
that. He knows how to win a close game. So maybe it's not as comfortable. It's like a wild water rafting almost. Whitewater rafting, it's crazy in the water compared to a lazy river that was Nick Saban, where you're beating everybody by 60. It's all peaceful. But at least Alabama's still winning. They're in the driver's seat for a spot in the SEC championship game. You just cannot afford to lose to Oklahoma, and you sure as heck cannot afford to lose the Iron Bowl. You cannot afford that.
I think they could lose. I don't think they're losing either. I think they could lose 1 and still make it, though.
I think if Alabama loses 1, they're definitely in, because you got a 10-2 SEC team with a win at Georgia, a win at Missouri,
done that.
A home win against Tennessee, against Vanderbilt. So I think Alabama, if they beat Oklahoma this week, I would feel very confident in saying Alabama is guaranteed a spot, barring a loss to Eastern Illinois. That would be.
Right.
But that's...
Which I had never heard of before.
Yeah, I had never either, and that's saying something, because usually I like keeping up with the little FCS schools, because that's where the fun football is. But I think Alabama, it was not impressive. Alabama could not run the football to save their lives. The defense was really good, allowed some drives into the red zone, but really was able to get stops when they needed it. Just overall kind of a bleh game. But you won, and that's all you can ask for.
That's all that matters. Just get these W's. It's funny, you saw a couple weeks ago, especially a lot of these teams had a won by their loss, the
Right.
losses, and it was almost all Alabama, it seemed like. They beat all these one-loss teams were Alabama. All right, so I guess that game's in Zach's picks this week.
It is. We will talk about that. We have only 4 games. Not a great slate.
No,
in
it's
the
a
SEC.
so-so slate.
Auburn has the week off, so they don't get to enjoy the chaos that is college football. Really nothing good in the non-conference.
That means I can finally enjoy a Saturday football.
You can have a peaceful Saturday of football.
Don't have to get angry or anything.
We will start, though, with the Battle of the Golden Boot. I don't think you could get mad over that one. I don't think you like Arkansas or LSU that particularly much. LSU, a 5.5-point favorite at home against Arkansas. 2 teams with interim head coaches. LSU, it'll be interesting to see who's quarterback. Garrett Nussmeier, he was pulled in the Alabama game after running backwards and getting sacked. And Martin Van Buren, not Martin Van Buren, my goodness. Van Buren something. I can't remember his first name, though.
I don't know.
Something Van Buren. Anyway.
But Tony.
All right, that works. Fair enough. But who's going to be the quarterback for LSU? Do you go with the pocket pass or do you go with the mobile guy? I don't think it matters who the starting quarterback is. I think LSU should win that one. What about you?
Yeah, and I would love to see Arkansas win that.
Yeah, they could win the Battle of the Golden Boot for the first time in forever.
Yes, I don't know when it was, but it feels like it's been a long time ago. But LSU probably, it'll be close. They just don't blow anybody out. It's kind of ugly even when they win. So maybe by 10 points, LSU.
Okay. Yeah, the line's 5.5. So that's very small considering.
Very small line. Arkansas is not terrible. The
No,
record
they're not
though.
bad. They lost to Auburn.
Just a bad record.
They lost to Auburn.
At home.
Not good. Yeah, at home to a Hugh Freeze Auburn team. That's not good.
Somebody had to.
So maybe Arkansas is not all that good, but we're both going LSU there. An interesting game, Mississippi State at Missouri. Missouri with a third-string quarterback. Still 7.5-point favorites hosting the Bulldogs.
He was awful. But what do you expect, right?
It was third-string quarterback.
It was in a terrible spot, and I probably don't see him I don't know. It's Mississippi State. It'll be a little bit easier. I'll take Missouri. And what did you say the line was?
It is 7.5.
That's kind of a small line. I'll take them, probably by 10 also.
All right, I'm going Mississippi State.
Wow.
They deserve to finally pull through. They're 5-5.
They just need one from.
They are a win away from bowl contention, and they have of course, Missouri this week. Then it's a bye week. Then it is Ole Miss, and they're probably not beating Ole Miss. I think that game is in Starkville, though.
Shot.
But this game is not in Starkville. I don't think it matters.
Wow.
When you get a team with a third-string quarterback
asking a lot,
facing a Mississippi State team that's not that bad. No. I know they've had some bad luck this year, but they are not that bad a football team. So I'm going Mississippi State to pull that up.
Oh, that'd be a good win. I hope that's right.
The next game, Texas at Georgia. They played twice last year. Georgia won both. This year, it's in Athens.
Wow.
Does the Georgia ride their home field advantage, which is usually unstoppable, or is Texas able to go on the road, get a statement win, and put themselves back in the driver's seat for a playoff spot?
The typical Georgia team would destroy this team. This is kind of a down. I mean, it's crazy. They're that good, but they are a little bit down. Everybody's kind of down. Texas is not far behind, and at least Manning had a big game, I think, last time. But I am still going Georgia at home, and I just don't see them losing there. If this was at Texas, it'd be a really tough pick.
Well, last year it was at Texas,
and Georgia still won.
And Georgia stopped them early and held on for a late win.
Yes.
This year at Georgia, I think it's a matchup issue because Georgia beat him with a backup quarterback last year, Gunnar Stockton. He's now the starter. He's actually looked pretty good so far this season. Mm-hmm. The offense is humming. The defense struggled a little bit against Mississippi State. But I don't think it matters. This is a big game. I think Georgia shows up for it.
They need it.
And they got the Bulldogs winning by 2 touchdowns.
Wow. And this would probably knock Texas out of playoff contention.
Yeah.
With 3 losses.
They would be 7-3. If they were to beat Texas A&M,
that would be a big game.
They're 9-3 with a win over a top 3 team. So then they would have a chance maybe if there's nobody else good. But this loss would certainly damage anything.
Yeah, that would really hurt. Yeah, it probably wouldn't put them out since they still have A&M on the schedule.
But still, trying to beat A&M would be tough. It is a home game for Texas, though. But we'll get into that in 2 weeks when that game actually happens. It should be a fun one there on Black Friday. But we're both going Georgia in this one.
We are.
Final game, Oklahoma at Alabama. Alabama has never beaten Oklahoma in the regular season. Their only 2 wins have come in a couple of Orange Bowls, one in 1963 and one in 2018 season. It was December 31st, 2018, yeah.
Oh, 18, okay.
It was a semifinal on New Year's Eve, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Have never beaten them at home or away.
Nope. And I think they've only played once in Tuscaloosa, and that was when Alabama was not good at all.
John Parker?
No, it was 02 or 03.
Oh, wow. So it was way back.
It was
okay, yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was Shula's first year. Maybe it was the year before Shula. And Oklahoma was number 1, and Alabama nearly won that game. But
I remember they played well at Oklahoma maybe the next year. I think they lost by 10, and they threw an interception late or something. So they played them close both the years, even though they weren't very good back then.
Alabama, they have a tie in there and a Bluebonnet Bowl. And then Alabama lost the game after the kick 6. They lost to Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then last year they lost to Oklahoma.
Wow.
So
it's over. That ends.
You think it's over?
That ends Saturday, yes. At home, yes. If it was on the road, maybe not, but at home, yes. Absolutely.
So that was short and sweet. Well, so Alabama's running game, does that concern you any? How they haven't been?
Boy, yes. That was, I don't know. LSU's not great. That didn't make any sense. So that needs to change. Maybe they can work on that this week.
Maybe.
It's time to get that going.
Let's see.
This late in the season, let's get the running game going, right?
I don't think Alabama's going to be able to get the running game going. I don't think the offense for Alabama will play well. But that Alabama defense is swarming.
Right.
If you can get pressure on John Mateer and put him under duress, he can't do much. So I think this is very low scoring. But I'm going with Alabama. As you said, it's at home. That's big. I'm going Alabama to win 16-10.
So kind of like the LSU game. Yeah, roughly like the LSU game?
Real low scoring, but I think Alabama was able to win a gritty defensive battle.
Alabama getting in these close games is crazy. I've told you before, the Saban years was the boring. Not being an Alabama fan, the Saban years was totally boring. I would turn the TV. I was like, this game's over. And now I actually end up watching most of the game because it's close. So that's different. All right, so that wraps up our show. Get out and watch your 2 local teams.
Yeah.
They're in Winston County, but they're on the same road. You go past Curry and just keep going.
Yeah, you go to Curry. If you're going from Walker County, you would get to Meek, then Addison. So depending on what do you want to see? Do you want to see the number 1 team in the state taking on Meek? Just pull off an Arley. Or keep going to Addison if you want to watch Berry and Addison. So 2 games, no road trips this week, which I like. No long road trips. We had a few of those last week.
Yes.
Yeah, so get out and see your local teams.
All right, we want to thank Jake for producing and Bevill State for sponsoring our show. Get out and watch Bevill State basketball. They play Friday this week.
Yes, so
the season's really getting going. You need to go check out that gym if you haven't seen it. But that's the end of our show. And get out and watch these local teams. Hopefully we'll have a couple left. We'll see you next week.